Hey there, A Higher Note community and Keep Singing participants um, alike. I am going to do kind of a fun session today. It's in our Keep Singing program. The fourth week of the month is called What's in Your Way Week. What's in Your Way Week, we're going to try to remove some obstacles. And I got off on a little bit of a tangent today. So, the topic that I decided to cover today was it is a mindset topic for singers, very valuable to singers because the point is the feeling of belonging, believing that you belong in wherever your medium is, whether it's live, whether it's busking on a street corner, whether it's on a stage, in a theater, musical production, in a band, on a church platform, um, whatever, wherever your place is, the sense that you belong there and you look like you belong, you believe that you belong there. So there's a difference between looking like you belong there and believing that you belong there, which is going to end up looking like you believe you belong there, which gives everyone who is watching you buy-in. When you have buy-in and you are communicating, you get buy-in from whoever your audience is, large or small. So one of the things that I was talking about with one of my students last night was a very simple thing that I think is a huge part of a lot of my students and a lot of singers in general, especially those who, well, we don't all struggle with self-esteem, but we might struggle with that belief that I belong here, that it's okay if I open my mouth to sing. Not only is it okay, but that I need to, I should, it's good. So we're going to look at that today. We're going to talk about opening your mouth, okay? But as I explain to my students over and over again, it's not just about opening your mouth. It is about the concept of and the practice of dropping your jaw, okay? Because when you open your mouth, watch what happens to me when I open my mouth from the side. Okay, watch what happens to the position of my head. Now, where is my chin? My chin is up, which means all my neck muscles are they're having to activate in order to hold my head in this position. So when I say opening your mouth, I do not mean raising your head. I mean dropping your jaw, which is going to keep your body in perfect alignment for good singing. Doesn't matter your genre. Does not matter your genre. You can be country, pop, rock, opera, folk, doesn't matter. We're going to look at a number of R&B, doesn't matter. We're going to look at a number of singers today, different kinds, and we're going to look at their jaw drop. Now, this is a big aspect of stage presence, okay? But I want you to know that stage presence does not have to be like some stereotypes that we sometimes think of when we think of someone owning the stage. Okay, I'm going to set this up here and then share my screen with you so that you can see one of the absolute masters of owning the stage, no inhibition whatsoever, and is not something that all of us could do, but it really worked for him. But I want to just say that stage presence and owning the stage and it doesn't have to be this, okay? But although it can be, okay? So I just want you to look at this, okay? Oh yeah, baby. Bring it on, Mick. Okay. So, all right. It does not have to be that. you and I do not have to be Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger is Mick Jagger. If we were all Mick Jagger, then we wouldn't have Mick Jagger. If we were all Michael Jackson, we wouldn't have Michael Jackson. If we were all, I mean, lots of people imitate, and we should imitate as we are finding our own sound. But having mindset that you belong singing, that it's okay to open your mouth. He's somebody that we can look to as an extreme example. Like, does he have a great voice? No. Is he a musical phenom? Yes. But again, I asked, does he have a great voice? No. Does he always have great singing, apparatus stuff going on? No. Is he drunk and high at least some of that time? Probably. But okay, so that's a little bit of an aside, but you and I can learn from that total buy-in. I mean, that is total buy-in. That is belief that I belong here, that this is my space, and it's okay if I take it up. And so I want to take you through some other performers today that we're gonna look at their jaw drop, and we're gonna look at how their mouth position shows that they have ownership, that their presence, that they're confident, that they belong there, and that they are in the right place, so to speak. So now I want to give you a little contrast. Okay, I do have a lot of students who come to me and they sing, maybe we're singing, a lot of times I'll have people sing just a simple ditty. Sometimes they'll sing happy birthday and I might get this. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Okay, so you get that. Now there is a step even before that, which we're going to see right quick with this quick clip that I got, which cracked me up and might crack you up too. Let me share my screen. Okay, Jessie J, here she comes. Oops, maybe. Turn to clip, just a minute. Where did it go? Okay. So she said in the interview, the Graham Norton show, that she kind of discovered as a kid that she could do that she could puff her mouth out kind of Louis Armstrong style and sing behind her lips. And you could probably do it too. She just, spent time practicing it, and she can really do it really well, can't she? So that was really fun. But so we want to get past closed lip singing, right? But you don't have to be Mick Jagger. Okay. So let's, well, and what do I mean by that? Like, Mick Jagger just has a big mouth, period. There's nothing you can do about it. Is like Lady Gaga said, he was born that way. Here is a little clip of Mick Jagger singing, not in his skivvies, and but just so you can see what I mean when I say he doesn't even have to be trying hard, and his mouth is open pretty wide. So you'll see that. Laughter, joy, and loneliness, and sex, and sex, and sex, and sex. Okay, so it doesn't even, he doesn't even have to be trying, and his mouth is wide open. And some of that is jaw drop, and some of it is just facial expression, and some of it's other stuff. So let's take a look at some that I have collected for today. And there's our lovely Mick and his skivvies. Okay, so we're gonna look first at 3 opera grand dames. This first one is Kiri Takanawa, who is someone that I've been an admirer of for a long time. I'm not gonna go into like a lot about who these people are. Just know that they're all famous and they all had decades-long careers, okay? And they're all, amazing singers in their own right, in their own genre. And sometimes they blend their genres, they mix their genres, they do different things, which is something that you can also do too. So let's look at Kiri Takanawa. She is unusual among opera singers. I wanted to show you her particularly because she doesn't do a whole heck of a lot of jaw drop. But and one of my points is that she still has ownership over her projection and over her presence, and her jaw does drop in all the right places where she is rounding out her tone, or where the note, sometimes she sings, when she sings high, her jaw goes down, sometimes it doesn't. So you'll see. This is a short clip. Here we go.
Sì, sì, ci voglio andare, e se
Not a huge jaw drop, because I do a high note, but there's a lot of openness in the back of the mouth. So there was a nice jaw drop there on that last note. And I've chose 3 different opera singers singing the exact same song. Here is the famous Renee Fleming, who has done a lot of crossover into music theater, like out of opera and into music theater and even into pop. So, but watch her, and she's super expressive, a wonderful actress. And you'll see a lot of that acting skill in this song as she's standing in one place, but communicating the feeling of this song and the meaning of the lyrics. Watch her jaw drop. You see, she dropped her jaw more than Kiri Takanawa did, and kind of does so consistently. It's how she finds her tone. But look, she's not, and she uses her jaw openness to either produce a certain kind of tone she wants, or volume that she's looking for. Okay, we're going to go on to the third opera voice, Montserrat Cabale, which is I think she's Spanish or Argentinian. Again, another very famous opera singer, and she has a very different style and sound, but look how she uses her jaw drop. Don't worry, we're not just doing opera singers. Notice none of them are opening their jaw, just enormously. Even on the big notes, it's a little more than 2 fingers distance. Sometimes 3. And 3 would be about the widest. I mean, maybe Mick Jagger's mouth is 4, and some singers are 4, but for the average person, between 2 and 3. Let's look at Freddie Mercury singing with Montserrat Cabale. And Freddie Mercury, of course, was one of the biggest names in rock for several decades, and with the group Queen. Super talented. Watch when he does this. This is a performance of Barcelona.
All the world to see.
And notice how They have
Miracle
such different
sensation,
styles,
my guide and inspiration. Now my
but look at their
dream is
presence
slowly coming.
and their jaw drop.
The wind is a gentle breeze. The bells are ringing out. They're calling us together, guiding us forever. Wish my dream would never go away. Barcelona. It was the first time that we met. Barcelona. I want all
Okay.
the world to.
So I wanted to, I mean, I could watch these all day and I kind of have. You can go back and look at these. I'm going to be making a blog post with these on there, and a lesson in the Keep Singing program. This kind of thing won't always be available both to the public and to the Keep Singing program, but this was so much fun. I thought it would be beneficial and a lot of people would enjoy it. So, but did you notice their expression and their jaw drop? Both of them, even though their voices and their style is so different, are so different. And another little thing, did you notice with that? Even when they tilted their head back, notice that they didn't just tilt their head back. They didn't just flip it back like this. Let me stop sharing for just a moment. They didn't just tilt their head back like this, because what does that do to the trachea and to the neck muscles? It makes the larynx's job a lot harder, because your neck muscles are having to hold your head in that position, and they're interfering with the laryngeal function. So did you notice that they both did this, but their torso went with their head tilt? Okay. And it doesn't take much to show the emotion of the movement without compromising your vocal anatomy and singing structure. Okay, let's keep going. Thank you, Freddie and Montserrat. All right. Now we've got some different people. Ariana Grande or Ariana Grande. Okay.
Go where you don't follow. I will hold it back again. There's passion inside. I can't run from myself. There's nowhere to hide. Oh, don't make me close one more door.
Okay,
I don't
clearly
wanna.
a lot of jaw drop. She has a lot of excess jaw movement, which shows that she's controlling a lot of the runs and the riffs with her jaw rather than from her diaphragm and the diaphragm laryngeal coordination. But you know what? She's doing it and it's not wrecking her voice so far as I know. I haven't heard of her having to have any microsurgery or anything. That doesn't mean she hasn't had it, but because it's extraordinarily common. Adele's had like 3 or 4 surgeries, from what I understand. I don't read tabloids, but that is my understanding. But the more control, Ariana Grande does have great control and she has good training. But you see with her jaw drop, there was a ton of presence there and a ton of ownership over being there. And she is extremely talented. Speaking of extremely talented, here is one of the grand dames, although not in opera, Aretha Franklin. Singing to the infamous Carole King. Okay. Right on. Big jaw drop. And Aretha Franklin's voice, she was a vocal prodigy and musical prodigy from a very young age. Sometimes it feels unfair to compare ourselves to them, but what I'm not trying to do a comparison of us to them. What I'm trying to do is show the buy-in that these artists have, and that they are willing to take up space and to be fully present and engaged with their music wherever they are. So let's move on. Okay. We've got a very interesting combination here of two very different singers, Luciano Pavarotti and Bryan Adams. Okay, here we go. Watch, let me pause this again. Watch the jaw drop on both. Watch how they manage I thought, you'll see, I think Bryan Adams does a really, really solid job. It is completely out of his field house, but he has clearly trained, and it's really, I think it's a great performance. Okay, here we go. Watch their jaw drop and their presence and how much they're enjoying being there. All right, unfortunately I cut off. It's really hard to make these clips to know exactly where they're stopping and starting without having to watch every clip every single time. So I apologize for cutting Bryan off at the end, because I think that was going to be a great line that he was about to do. But you could see it was interesting to notice that they were both fully present to what they were doing. I think Bryan Adams was like, I can't even believe this is happening. I'm on the stage with Luciano Pavarotti singing O Sole Mio. And he was just having a ton of fun with it. But you can, when you get this later on, you can look at these clips fully and you can see, how he managed and maneuver. Because he actually starts out the song. He sings the first verse himself solo. So yeah, okay, there we go. There is that. Let's move on to the next. I'm just getting my screen all set up here. Okay. The three, oops, not that. Didn't mean to do that. Not that. We already saw that. Here we go. Okay, the three tenors. Luciano Pavarotti. And Placido
poiché quello che ha da cuore onnipotente va. Viviamo, amore, amore, fra i calici più caldi baci avrà.
Okay, so I didn't want our guy opera fans to feel left out. So there's three different tenors singing, the same repertoire and similar phrasing, and you could see how they approached with their jaw and their lips and everything was a little different, but they all, of course, drop their jaw. They just do it a little bit differently because they have different styles. They literally have different artistic styles. I urge you to go back and look at those and just see what they do. Okay, now here is one of my favorites, Maria Callas doing Bizet from Carmen, and she's a very fun and expressive singer. So watch her mouth, because she usually drops on the high notes, but doesn't necessarily always drop all the time, but there's always an open mouth and an open throat, which is especially difficult when you're as expressive facially as she is. So watch this. Okay. So you could see various states of jaw droppage there, and clearly always in control, and clearly, speaking of always in control, and clearly very expressive and maintaining that balance between facial expression and acting and interpreting the song for the listeners and having good vocal posture and positioning. So now, Whitney Houston, of course, we can't do something without showing some Whitney. Be, what I, Whitney Houston trained for years and years and years, for hours upon hours per day. And I just want you to see, like, know that little fact. As you are watching her, you will see her jaw is totally relaxed, even when she's doing her big notes, and dropped, and her neck is relaxed, even when she's doing the big sound. Everything is very practiced, and yet she is able to totally let go. Okay, like so, and also talking about presence and sense of belonging. Now, she didn't always feel like she belonged, as we now know. She struggled with self-esteem issues, not helped by her husband and all that kind of stuff, all the drama of life. But she would come on stage and be fully present and put all that practice to bear on whatever she was performing. So here is, I have nothing. I don't have you here.
There's nowhere to hide, but your love I remember forever. Don't make me close one of my door. I don't wanna hurt anymore. Stay in my arms if you dare. Let's not imagine you there.
And that was interesting, of course, because we heard Ariana Grande doing the same song earlier. They have different sounds, different voices. Ariana's voice has a lot more of the modern affect to it, but they both use, and I would say, Whitney Houston just masterfully, and Ariana Grande very, very, very well. But I mean, Whitney Houston was simply masterful at what she did. But did you notice the complete and utter jaw relaxation, even as she dropped her jaw? I mean, neck relaxation. All right, couple more, and then we'll bring this to a close because I've got to go teach some lessons. Okay, so Ed Sheeran, what I want you to see about Ed's performance here is that he doesn't do a ton of jaw drop. There's maybe one finger there, but he sings with a good, solid, open throat, and gets a lot of volume in a lot of space in the back of his throat, and his mouth and the oral cavity, and he has a great control over his mixed voice or his middle voice. So you'll hear him. You might think he's belting. He's not. He is blending his upper and lower ranges, and then he later on goes in fully into his upper range, his head voice. Some people call it falsetto. I believe he has a fully in control head voice. It's not not falsetto. Some people just call falsetto and head voice the same for men. I think there's a difference, but it's okay. Whatever. It's fine. I want you to hear him singing over the mixed voice blend that's going on, the little what do you call that, harmony that he's got going on, that he sets up with his loops. He's got vocal loops and guitar loops. This guy's got everything going on the stage. He's doing all this himself. Okay, so this is a really fun performance. Here we go. Listen to the voice. not the clip, but you can hear the effect of it all, and you can always go back and listen to this whole thing and hear the buildup. But I wanted you to hear, let me see if I can get it to the right place. That's not the right place. So I'm not going to try to find the right place, but he's got a great facility with his entire range. And he doesn't use a ton of jaw drop, but there's about a finger there. So, but I wanted you to see him as an example of somebody popular who is keeping his voice in shape and doing amazing things with it and fully utilizing his range, and stays real comfortable with his jaw muscles and neck muscles. All righty. Oh, there is the clip, duh, but we're going to pass that up for now. And then we have Brian McKnight, one of my favorite R&B artists. I first got to know about him, but I know I'm not going to go through all that. I could, but I'm not. Okay, so listen to Brian. Similar to Ed, he does not do a ton of jaw drop, except when he is trying to make an effect on his voice with the tone. So notice that, though, that even though he keeps a relatively closed mouth, like probably one finger, for a lot of the singing, and he uses a very horizontal vowel line, he keeps a very, I'm going to put this way, he keeps a lot of space in the back of his mouth, that open throat singing, the back of the vocal tract. And so as such, he keeps the resonance really clear and clean. And then he drops his jaw for certain places and certain effects. So here we go. Brian McKnight.
Do your friends still tell you what to do every time the phone rings? Do you wish it was me calling you? Do you still feel the same? Or has time put out the flame? I miss you, I miss you. Is everything okay? It's been 6 months, 8 days, 12.
So, and it was nice to be able to see kind of a close-in shot of his neck as he sang those jumps and all that kind of stuff. And he went right up into his head voice and back down, used the kind of yodel effect. That's where you flip, you let your larynx shift very quickly, and it has that yodel effect. And you have to have really relaxed neck muscles and really let go of that even as you're controlling it. Okay, so that was fun. Now, I've literally taken all day to do this because I was having so much fun. So let's land the plane here. All right. What is common among these people that we can learn from? Okay, these performers. First, their projection of confidence. Okay, but what is it about them that's projecting confidence? That's saying, "I belong here. I'm okay with being here." You can see that they're expressing the lyrics. You're hearing them express the lyrics. You're seeing it in their body and their face. They're being present to what the lyrics are saying. They're interpreting for the listeners, and they are communicating. They're taking their message and they're communicating it to their listeners and their audiences. They are taking up space. They are belonging there. Probably a lot of them had to practice that to feel that. But so do we, okay? And so can you. You can do it. And then one of the things that shows, hey, I believe I belong here, is that they open their mouths like they mean it. Does it always mean a gigantic no? As we saw, it does not. But being willing to open your mouth and practicing it is a very important part of vocal development. So, and just imagine all those artists, go back and think about that. Imagine them singing it with no jaw drop. I have plenty of students that come to me and literally sing like I showed you earlier, like sing like this. What would be different about the performances we just watched if their mouths were less than one finger Okay, if there wasn't at least this much there, if they were singing like this with their jaw dropped, just really take a second, try to imagine uh, Ariana Grande, try to imagine Whitney Houston, try to imagine Brian McKnight, try to imagine it and really think and think. I want you to think of 3 descriptive phrases describing your impressions of them if their mouths were closed. Like you're really using your imagination here. So come up with 3 descriptive phrases and put them in the comment box. Wherever you're seeing this, put them in the comment box. If you're in Keep Singing, put it in your journal and make it public, and or put it in our Facebook group. So yeah, okay. So all right. So that's what's common among them, and I want you to imagine what they would be like as performers if they did not drop their jaw. The second thing is we got to ask ourselves is how much drop is good? What's sufficient? Okay, the average. We've talked a lot about the fact that some singers sing with about 1 finger, but there's none of those that we saw that didn't have at least 1 finger of jaw drop. Go back and look. And there might have been phrases where it was closed up for a certain vowel, for an E vowel. But in large part, the vast majority of the time, it is at least 1, but the average, if you'll go back and look, or just start paying more attention as you're studying other singers, it's the average is 2. So take 2 fingers and put them in your mouth. Take your fingers out and then feel what it feels like to have your jaw there. Then look at yourself in the mirror. Ask yourself, do I look more like a singer if I sing happy birthday to me? Or happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me. Which one looks like more like a singer? And I want you to do those little tests with yourself with a mirror or with a video recorder if you don't have a mirror, or a mirror if you don't have a video recorder. Drop that jaw 2 fingers and use that mirror or video. You have to teach your body and your muscles what it feels like to open your mouth when you sing and actually be dropping your jaw so that your mouth doesn't keep going back up to being closed when you're singing. Okay, I hope that this has been fun for you, and hopefully edutational, or whatever the edutation, edutainment, edutaining, whatever. I hope it's been educational, informational, and entertaining. So go practice dropping your jaw and sing out. Keep singing, friends. Bye. Oh, Natalie Eastman with A Higher Note here and the Keep Singing vocal program. Bye.